You've done many things in your search for peace. You cleansed, you prayed, you asked the divine for direction. You spoke to your ancestors with sincerity in your heart. You visited people who've been doing this longer than you've been alive. You listened carefully. You tried to follow the path that's been shown to you. But still, man, still, something inside you hasn't moved. And now you wake up some mornings with a heaviness that sleep cannot fix. A heaviness that sleep cannot fix. Not the heaviness of the body, but the heaviness of the spirit. A quiet weight that sits somewhere deep inside of you. And sometimes you ask yourself a question that you're almost afraid to say out loud, which is, why does it feel like this? When I've done everything, I've done everything. Why does it still feel like this? Why does the road still look unclear when I have asked for guidance? Why does the silence remain when I have called with sincerity? But Spirit is saying, this moment that you are standing in right now is not a mistake. It's no coincidence. It's not punishment, but it's a doorway. And many people don't recognize this door when they arrive because it doesn't look like light. This door doesn't look like light. It looks like confusion. It looks like uncertainty. It feels like standing in between two worlds. The old ways of doing things no longer bring the same clarity, but the new understanding has not been revealed yet. The new understanding has not yet been revealed. It hasn't revealed itself yet. So the spirit becomes restless. Not because you lost, but because something inside you is preparing to awaken. Something is preparing to awaken. For a long, long time, you were taught that spirituality is something you must perform correctly. You were told that if you cleanse the right way, if you pray with the correct words, if you follow the right instructions, then the path will open easily for you. And sometimes those things do actually work. Sometimes those things do help. But there comes a stage in every spiritual path when those outer actions are no longer enough. Those outer actions are no longer working, not because they are wrong, but because they were never meant to replace something far more powerful. They were never meant to replace something more powerful, which is inside you, which is inside of you, which is your direct relationship with spirit, your direct relationship with the divine, your direct relationship with the ancestors that walk with you. There comes a moment when your soul start asking a deeper question, not what ritual should I do next, but something much more honest, something much deeper and more honest, which is, do I truly trust what lives inside me? And that question can shake a person deeper because many people have spent years learning to trust instructions. Many people have spent a lot of time learning the instructions, learning the methods, but almost no time at all learning to trust the inner knowing, learning to trust the inner knowing. So when the old structures stop giving clear answers, the mind begins to panic. Your mind begins to panic. It searches for more teachings, more voices, more people to confirm what to do next. But the silence you're experiencing right now is not abandonment. The silence you're experiencing is not abandonment. It's an invitation because spirit sometimes becomes quiet so that you can finally hear yourself. So that you can finally hear yourself, because the truth is your ancestors do not want a relationship built on fear. They do not want a connection where you believe they only respond if you perform perfectly. And the divine does not measure your worth through rituals alone. What spirit seeks is something far more alive, something far more alive, which is presence, which is honesty, your awareness. There are moments when the greatest movements in your spiritual life don't come through another cleansing or another prayer or another set of instructions. And it happens the moment you stop running from your own inner voice, when you sit with yourself long enough to feel what has always been there, what has always been there, a quiet awareness that has been trying to guide you from the very beginning. Many people ignore this voice because it doesn't shout, it whispers. And the world has trained you to only respond to what is loud. What is loud. But spirit has always spoken through stillness, through subtle nudges, through feelings that do not come with explanations. So if you're standing in a place where nothing seems to be moving, if the path feels uncertain, if you feel you've tried everything and something remains unresolved, do not rush to assume that something is wrong. Sometimes this moment arrives when spirit is preparing you for a deeper kind of awareness, a spirituality that is no longer based on what you were told, but one that is built through your own living experiences, your own relationship with the unseen, your own conversations with the divine. And when that shift begins, something interesting happens. The heaviness that you once felt begins to change, and not instantly. It doesn't happen instantly, but it happens gradually, because you're no longer walking the path as someone who is waiting to be told who they are. You begin walking as someone who is discovering it. You begin recognizing that spirit has never been far away. Spirit has never been far away. Your ancestors have never stopped listening. The divine has never withdrawn its presence from your life. What has been happening is that something within you has been growing strong. Something within you has been growing strong enough to meet them in a new way. Awakening rarely announces itself with comfort. It often begins with questions. It often begins with doubt, with the quiet dismantling of old beliefs. But those moments are sacred. Those moments are sacred because there are moments when your spirit begins remembering its own authority. Not the authority of ego, but the authority of connection. Connection to life, connection to spirit, connection to the wisdom that lives both within you and around you. So, if you find yourself in this place, do not rush away from it. Sit with it, listen to it, because what feels like stillness on the outside may actually be the beginning of a deeper movement within. Something ancient inside you is waking up. And when that awakening becomes clear, you will realize something powerful. You realize something powerful. You were never lost. You were never lost. You were simply being guided toward a deep understanding of who you are. Many people reach this moment in their spiritual journey, but only a few speak about it. So, if you've experienced a time where your spiritual path suddenly felt uncertain, share your experience down below, because your story might be able to help someone understand their own. This is Spirit of Pula, the Spirit of Rain. Pula is the name.